G'day mates, from Nelson Bay, as in Nelson Bay, Australia. Nelson Bay is a beautiful little portside city here in the Port Stephens area of New South Wales. And it is a beautiful day. Today, I think it's actually late autumn as I'm filming this video. And if you ever come to Port Stephens, if you're like most people, what you're going to want to do is get out on the water. Everything here is water. In fact, I'm here at the marina here in Nelson Bay, and I'm about to take you on a little bit of an adventure. Well, not a little bit of an adventure. I'm about to take you on a big adventure. We are going whale watching. That's right. Twice a year, right off the coast of Australia, I should say coast as in plural, off the coast of Australia, the whales migrate, and the humpback whales, and I believe there's another species of whales as well, and they migrate up north this time of year, and then later in the year they're going to be migrating south. So we're going out on a cruise, and not just any cruise. We are going on Imagine Cruises. Imagine Cruises is owned by this just wonderful gentleman named Frank. And Frank is a character in and by himself. I mean, he is probably worth the price of admission. If you're going to do a cruise here in Nelson Bay, I don't know that you'd really want to do a cruise with anybody other than Frank. Frank is the actual last person. There's a lighthouse out here, a famous lighthouse out not too far from here. And Frank was the last person. It was a historic lighthouse. He was the last lighthouse keeper for this lighthouse for quite some years, and when he stopped doing the lighthouse thing, he decided to go into the cruise operation. And he'll take you at times of the year. He'll take you snorkeling, or like today, we're going to go see some whales. You might go out and go swimming with dolphins. But today it is all about whales, humpback whales, and I'm sure we'll see some dolphins as well on the adventure. But right behind me is the vessel that we're going to be sailing on. It's a beautiful catamaran, and we're going to go and explore the catamaran a little bit, and then we're going to launch out into the, is it launch or I don't know, but we're going to head out. We're going to head out into the bay here, and then out into the ocean, and see if we can't find ourselves some humpback whales. All right, so let's let the adventure begin. And this would be the boat. Look at that. I think this is what they call they call this a catamaran, perhaps. I think it might be called a catamaran, and it is really a beautiful vessel. Look at this. So they're telling me that every indication is that we are going to see some whales. We're going to see some whales on this trip. And it should be fantastic. As a matter of fact, they're actually going to live stream this whole experience on their YouTube channel, and that'll be something in itself to see. You'll be able to go on YouTube and find this broadcast, I'm sure, years from now. But here it is. You see, imagine.com. What is it? imaginecruises.com.au. imaginecruises.com.au. And this is it's a rather, they're just going out right today just to do some filming, and I had the good fortune to be invited along. So I'm going to go and do this cruise just kind of as a guest. I'm quite fortunate, as a matter of fact, to be able to be going on this cruise. So I'm going to be sharing different things with you as we spend the day here. This is the front. If you're coming up here, this is the front of the boat, where you could grab yourself a seat and enjoy a nice day. I probably should show you the bay itself. Here's the bay. This would be Nelson Bay right here, and the marina. So here's the marina, and you see they're getting all ready to sail just over there. And I'll come down and show you the inside of the boat, or what do they call it? I think they call it maybe they call it the galley, is what they call. I think they call it the galley. Now here is the Here's the captain's chair. Look at this. You see? So if you were actually sitting here, you would be, that would be your view if you were sailing this thing. And I heard somebody down below talking about a flat white. I heard the mention of a flat white. Now a flat white would be a. So here is the. This is. I think they call this the galley. Is this called the galley? No, the bar. This is called the bar. It's not the. Okay, so this is the bar, folks. I'm mistaken. This would be the. This would be the bar. Here, you see, you can get yourself some rum or some scotch. If you can even see that, rum, scotch, vodka, you know, and this is what I'm actually hoping to see. You see, I'm hoping to see something like that. That would be fantastic if I could see something like something like that. That's what I would like to ultimately see. So, all right, we're going to get underway, and I'll be back after we start pulling out.
Yeah, it's nice to get hard.
And we are underway, and look who's at who's at the wheel himself. Mr. Frank. Frank is at the wheel himself, steering this this ship. Is this a catamaran?
It is. It's a cat. Whoa, look at that. We've got a couple of gyrocopters hovering up there.
Fantastic.
This is a 16-meter catamaran.
16-meter catamaran.
Yeah.
All right, and here we go. Look at this. This is fantastic. Boy, what a great day this should be. And in doing so, we're heading out of the marina, and you can see this beautiful boat is just heading in. And that boat is actually going along the rock wall there, and that's where a lot of people will spend the day fishing, right off of the rock wall. And look at that, boy, look at that beautiful boat. Is that gorgeous or what? And here you'll see you'll probably see some fishermen just right out here that are doing some fishing. And a lot of them are fishing for a fish called brim. That's what it's called. It's called brim. So off we go. And in doing so, we'll say goodbye to the marina here in beautiful Nelson Bay. And let's hope we see some whales. That's what it's all about. It's a beautiful, beautiful autumn day, and I want to see some whales, as I'm sure you do as well. Maybe some dolphins. Just outside of the marina, look at that beautiful boat right there, that catamaran. Somebody in a sea kayak as they paddle along. Boy, what a beautiful, beautiful afternoon it is. And there's the beach that I'll often do my evening walk on. That's one of the things that's nice about going out on the boat, because I get to see many of the areas that I'm familiar with walking, and now I get to go past them out here from this perspective, the water. And right here we're going past Fly Point. This is called Fly Point right here, and this is a marine sanctuary. And you will see some just beautiful, beautiful fish if you put on a snorkel or a tank and go down below the water's surface here. As you can see, we're not the only ones out here. Here are some folks sitting just doing a little fishing. And just over here you see there's an old bunker, an old military bunker that was here at some point in time during the Second World War. You are looking at Mrs. Murphy's Crack, or her gap. Mrs. Murphy's Gap or her crack, whatever you want to call it. That's Mount Tamaree, if I'm not mistaken. And that gap in the mountain there, right there, that got its name after a woman, Mrs. Murphy, who, when her husband was off fishing, she was all too friendly with the other locals in town, and they named that Mrs. Murphy's Crack. And as I bring the camera around here, here's another familiar spot. That just over there is Fingal Strait. For those of you that may remember, sometime back when I first arrived here into this area, I was just really taken aback by Fingal Beach and Fingal Strait, which is a little area where the high tide comes in and just closes everything off, isolates this island. And if you look at this island over here, way out at the end is the lighthouse, and that is that's the lighthouse where Frank was the last keeper of the lighthouse, right there. So to say that Frank knows this area well is just a little bit of an understatement, I would imagine. So Frank, I'm curious about something.
Right.
When you're going out looking for whales, how do you just head out into the open ocean and just hope and pray that you go in the right direction, or is there a method to the madness?
There's a bit of a method, because where we are here at Port Stephens, it juts right out into the East Australian current. Now the EAC, which you might remember from Nemo, is a warm tropical current that eddies down from the Barrier Reef all the way down the east coast of Australia. And at this point, comes in pretty close to the coast. And so the whales this time of the year are going north. And in order to make headway, because they don't swim very fast, and the current can run at about 3 nautical miles an hour, 3 knots, and the whales only swim at that speed. So to make headway, they come in close inshore and get out of the current. So we call it the Humpback Highway, and it squeezes the whales into a narrow corridor. There's our other boat.
Frank's waving to the other boat here, the Envision.
Yeah. It's a bit quicker than this one.
So there's a narrow area of waterway, and you just find your way in that narrow area. And you look for other boats maybe that have spotted some whales.
Well, of course, we're looking for the blow, just like the old whalers of the old days. There she blows, or a splash. And quite often, because the whales are coming from the Antarctic and they're swimming sort of 24/7, they get hot. So the water here at the moment is 19 degrees. So that's hot for a whale that's covered in fat from feeding all summer in the Antarctic. So they wave their long pectoral fins like a heat exchanger, and that cools them down. So sometimes you'll see this long fin, can be 5 meters long, waving, and it's just like they're waving at us. Of course they're not, but very handy to spot them. And of course if they breach, well, a splash of a 50-ton whale you can see for miles. So we look for all those things.
Wonderful. Now, somebody once told me there's no such thing as a stupid question, only a stupid answer.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you what some might think is a stupid question, but I wouldn't expect you to have the answer. Do whales sleep?
Yes. Yeah, all mammals do sleep. It might not always look like sleep. They have the ability, all cetaceans, dolphins included, have the ability to transfer their swimming and breathing function from one hemisphere of their brain to the other.
Wow.
So when they go into, it's often referred to as logging, because they can look like big logs sitting on the surface. So they slow right down, and they do it day or night. They probably more likely to do it during the day, but and they transfer their swimming and breathing onto one side, because they're conscious breathers. Obviously they have to think about breathing all the time, whereas we don't really think about breathing unless we're swimming, and then we do think about breathing, of course. And well, they're always swimming, so they're thinking about it all the time. So basically, for periods of about 8 hours a day, might be a short period of an hour.
Okay.
They take a nap and they log, and they'll be breathing. You'll see them more on the surface, rhythmically swimming and breathing, but not in their full motor capacity where they'll be doing 3 or 4 knots.
Now, is it common that you'll have a collision with a marine vessel and a whale?
Yeah. It wasn't so common because up until 25 years ago, there were only about 1,500 whales on the east coast of Australia, humpbacks. So they weren't very common. In fact, just looking over our logbooks back in August 1996, we only saw 2 whales in the entire of August. Now, last August, we went out twice a day and never had a miss. And August is actually not a busy time. June and July and September and October are busier. August was the sort of flat month because most of the whales are up north. But now there's so many juvenile whales which are too old to be with their mum, but not old enough to be in the mating game. So we get them hanging out here, like the one that was in the port the other day. It's a juvenile, of no interest to mating, and his mum's already probably gone by, so he's just poking around. I love the juvenile whales because they're curious, no fear, like teenagers, I suppose. Very curious. They'll often come right up, and we call it mugging.
Mugging.
They'll come right up the back of the boat, roll over and get their big eye out and spy hop, where they lift their head out of the water to get their eye up above the surface and give you a good eyeball, you know, and then you wonder who's watching who then.
Yeah, let's hope we get, you know, it's not often that I would say, I hope we get mugged.
Yeah,
but let's hope we get mugged, hey?
Let's hope we get mugged by a whale.
All right, sounds
Or
good.
2.
I couldn't help but to share this view with you. The young boy just enjoying probably one of the better seats on the boat, and it won't be too long before finds himself right above dolphins that are coming along under the front of the boat. Bottlenose dolphins. There is his friend is coming on up to say hello. To be young again. Another way to know if you're getting close to the whales is you look at the photographers on board. And this gentleman just came up with this big old camera, and he said this is his little one. And he said he saw a whale not too far off in the distance, and he's trying to grab a shot of him. He's scanning the water, looking for a spout or something. But we're getting out there now. We're getting pretty close to where hopefully we'll start seeing some activity here. Okay, they've come back up, and let's hope we see I'd love to see a breach. There they are. There's a couple of them. There. Come on, let's see a breach. It's pretty cool to be just right on the...
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Did you get it?
There you go. Hopefully maybe you caught that. I don't know. But there was a whale that... Oh, there you go. Wow, they're jumping now. There we are. Look at this. So, boy, Frank was right. They're jumping up out of the water. So hopefully I caught that on video. There's 2 of them, and maybe we'll see it again. Wow. They're jumping. They sure are. Frank was right. I just got to try to have the camera pointed in the right spot when you see them jump. Wonderful. They must come up pretty quick and just jump up into the air. Let's see, there you go. Wow. Okay, the Dolphins have joined us now, and maybe I'll be able to share these with you. I was wondering if we'd see some dolphins, and they're here. They're gonna, if I hold the camera here long enough, you're probably gonna see them right up, coming up underneath the boat. There you go. Look at that. You see? Wow. Just right in front of us. Wonderful. Look at that. There's our dolphin friends. Just playing with the boat. Fantastic. Here I come. I'll be right down along. Wow. They like to play with the waves of the boat. There's one right up there. There it is. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Wow, there's quite a few of them. Boy, look at that. What a beautiful view. As we're heading back in, I thought to share this view with you here. Just coming back into the bay. Look at that. Just beautiful. Isn't that something? Sun is just going down. Just catching the tail. Well, just catching the sunset, as a matter of fact.
Now there's a shot.
It's another shot of the sunset here. We're just moments from pulling in to the marina. There you have it. Whale watching in Nelson Bay. Was that wonderful or what? Absolutely fantastic. We got to see some whales breaching and some dolphins playing, and learned a little bit from Frank, and we're heading back, and hope if you ever make it this way to Nelson Bay and Port Douglas, that you look Frank up on Imagine Cruises. It's something that you'll never forget. I know I'll never forget it. So as they say down here in the land down under, good day, mates.